The US Pentagon, the military, understands information war very well. They know how to use and instrumentalize algorithms to help, create political and social problems in societies. It's very easy to create social chaos, in a country. For good reasons or bad reasons or whatever reason, English is dominating in the kind of social media world. It's a fact, and it's hard to fight this fact. If you have Bilibili and you say, well, we want Bilibili to go global, the app is going to have to change, and I'm not even sure that it's going to be easy to do it, to get, people coming in to use different languages and so on. It may even be possible now technologically. But it's hard to get people to say, go on Bilibili, don't go on Facebook or whatever. They're going to do all these things. People are going to go on all these platforms. So it's these things together, this hardware gap. It's very difficult to close that. Look, TikTok is quote unquote a Chinese company. Although, TikTok themselves say, well, TikTok USA is a separate company. TikTok China, the parent company, etc., etc. TikTok is not a Western dominated app. And yet, even TikTok struggles to be able to platform and highlight, views of the South. I mean, it mainly highlights views of, cute cats and whatnot. Not necessarily a form that makes it easy to tell complicated ideas and so on. So yeah, these two things, they're like the DNA strands, the double helix of a DNA strand, the hardware gap and the credibility gap, and they work together. There's a value in having separate platforms because right now, maybe I have to think about, this is a difficult question. Because for a very long time, for decades now, most Western states have really taken information war seriously. Really seriously. They've studied it. They've developed tools for it. The US Pentagon, the military, understands information war very well. They know how to use and instrumentalize algorithms to help create political and social problems in societies. It's very easy to create social chaos, in a country. You enter in with social media and you say X something happened, or you release some fake stuff about, the president is actually got a house he bought an island somewhere, he's corrupt. Fake news and all that, this stuff is there. It exists, it's real. And so when you have in your country open access to the media, you are actually opening the borders and saying, bring on your information war. And unless you have a way to filter out things, it's very difficult to combat this. So yes, you're right. At one level, creating separate platforms, there's a value to it because it protects your country from malicious, fake attacks, the information war. On the other hand, your population doesn't know how to go out there and communicate with, billions of other people. Like imagine if more Chinese social media users were interacting with people in Africa or in other parts of Asia, Latin America, out there posting their stories. I mean, let me say, what is the most powerful thing about social media? It's finding out what another person on the planet, they're almost like your neighbor, even though they live somewhere far away. You learn things about their everyday life, Some young Chinese person, says, look at this, I just got my degree and I'm happy. Or somebody else is there saying, I love my mother, I want to tell you, hey guys, I love my mom, That humanizes people and they get to know each other. There's a real value, in my opinion. I know a lot of people say, oh, social media is bad, corrupting. Actually, I think it brings people together in a way. You get to see relatively, not exactly unfiltered because there is an algorithm. You get to see, however, other young people or other people of different ages, how they behave. It humanizes us. But you got to worry about this information war as well. So I have mixed feelings about, the one giant internet versus having some controls in a country. But let's be frank, you can have as many controls as you want, but it's impossible to control the internet. I mean, people are just going to find a way around it. There's a good reason we call these things tunnels. When you want to get past a gate, you go into a tunnel. There are a million ways to tunnel things. I mean, I've published 40 books. All of my books are available for free on the internet. Not because I put them there, but I publish a book today, tomorrow the PDF is online. And that's just the way it is. And do I complain? No. I'm actually happy. When people write to me and say, how do I get your book? I say, go to this website. You'll find it there. Why? Because I prefer they read it, than anything else. So what I'm just trying to say is that I have my worries about information war, but I also feel that information and the free flow of information allows people a better sense of themselves. They get to learn about each other and so on. Wasn't it powerful, very powerful, for a young person to see, how people live in, say, Uzbekistan? What are the houses like? It's funny, the other day I was asking somebody, how do you make the sound woof woof in Brazilian, or in other countries? Some people go arf arf, some people go uff uff. They don't sound like dogs to me, different places. But learning all that shows you how interestingly different cultural worlds are. Even the way humans make cat sounds, I might say meow, but somebody says ow, or whatever, it's such a joy how diverse the planet is. And that actually brings us closer together, because we say, wow, we have different words for the same thing. It brings us closer together. You have an appreciation for the richness and difference and so on.